Good evening, everybody. I trust we all are doing fine. Good evening. Please let me know in the comment section if you can hear me, please. And yeah, good evening, good evening, good evening. Okay, good evening, Emilia. Good evening, Abisola. Good evening, Taiwo, Gifts, Adirunke, Caroline. Good evening. All right, good evening. Good evening, guys. All right, please let me know if you can hear me. Please, if you can't see my screen, it's probably your network. So please let me know, just to be on the safe side, let me know if you can hear me, and also let me know if you can see my screen from your end. Thank you, guys. All right, thank All right, thank you, Jane. Thank you, Celine. Thank you, Obinwe. I hope I'm not destroying your name. Thank you, Queen Beja. Nice. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Livingstone. Thank you, Princess. All right, that's cool. So, as usual, let's give others let's be a little bit lenient. Let's do a little bit of African time. So, let's give them 2 to 3 minutes to join the call. So please, now is a good time to send a message. Now is a good time to make a phone call to your friends. Tell them we are starting already. We are starting already. And as always, we have a lot to cover, right? In as much as we are going to be moving at a good pace, we also need to keep in mind that we have a lot to cover. Yes, so please, by exactly 7 minutes past time, we will be starting. By exactly 7 minutes past time, we will be starting the session for today. All right, so thank you, everybody. Good evening. So I trust we all are doing well. Please tell me about your day in the comment section. I hope your day was as productive as mine. And I also hope we've been going through what was discussed last week, right? I didn't see a lot of comment on that in the group. I was actually expecting, it was very, very little. Yeah, okay. So we have just 2 more minutes. Please call your friends and tell them we are about to move for tonight. Oh, sorry about that, Blessing. Sorry about that. Sorry, Blessing Osundele. All right, gift. That's nice. That's nice. Great to hear that. All right. Okay, so we have just 1 minute left. Okay, YouTube user, it's raining heavily in Port Harcourt. Oh, okay. We had a little downpour here in Abuja also. Yeah, we had a little bit of that here in Abuja also. All right, all right. Okay, few seconds to go. Few seconds to go. Oh, sorry about that, Bukola Modi. I'm a bit strong. Restful day. All right, please. I hope you are getting enough rest. That way, you'll be back stronger by God's grace. Oh, Damilola says she's just coming back from work. Oh, Eunice, just accept the weather right now. Okay. Nick has said it wasn't a little in Abuja. Depends on where you are actually. It wasn't so much in my side. I mean, but little is relative, so maybe by my own judgment, it's little. All right. Oh, sorry about that. That would do. Sorry about the stressful day. All right. Sorry. Okay. Pamela Henry said it was ethic. All right. All right. Oh, thank you very much, LC Diary, for asking about my day. It was nice. It was nice. It was nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Lois. My day was nice. It was interesting. A lot of fun. All right. So it's 7 minutes past time now. So I believe we can start. So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's session. Um, yeah, very big thank you to Incubator, right? Let's say thank you to Incubator because it's not easy to bring up stuff like this. Yes, so we are studying security policies and compliance today. We are going to be looking at security policies and compliance. So it's going to be a fun class. Trust me, I know like a lot of you like it when it's discussion session, right? So this is just one of those this is one of those sessions where we'll be having a lot of discussion and interaction, and then we'll be looking at how one can become an expert, right? This has a lot to do with the aspect of cybersecurity known as the GRC, right? Governance, risks, and compliance. Yeah. Okay. So, and as always, I remain Emmanuel Akobi Ajibolu. I am a Christian, a penetration tester, security analyst, and I have a couple of certifications to my belt, right? I work for an organization here in Abuja with the name Cybersecurity Limited, right? And I am a graduate of the Federal University of Technology, Mina, Nigeria. Yes, attached is my LinkedIn, a link to my LinkedIn profile for those that might want to connect with me online. Fine. And for those who have connected with me already, I appreciate. Thanks for the nice words. Thanks for the kind messages. It means a lot to me. Thank you very, very much. So on to the activity for today, right? So the goal of this session, right, is to understand the importance of security policies in protecting assets and ensuring compliance, right? So by the end of the session, you should be able to, one, understand why security policies are crucial for an organization. Two, you must be able to recognize how policies influence employees' behavior and ensures regulatory compliance, right? Then also we should learn the best practices for drafting an effective security policy, right? So we should be able to know how to draft effective security policy. Okay, so as usual, we'll be following the last template which we used. So we're going to interact and then we are going to ask questions, right? I'm going to look at the comment section and then see what we can make out of that. So there'll be a little break here and there to make sure that the class is interactive. Yes. So, okay, a quick one, right? Okay, the font. All right, but I thought we agreed with this font. This is the font we used in the last class, but we adjust it down. Never mind. Okay, so a quick one. Have any of you ever heard about security policy? Please let me know. If this is the first time you are hearing that, fine. Okay, I have a lot more persons talking about the font. I will adjust it very soon, guys. So let me know what you know before now about security policy. Quickly in the comment section, we'll be taking that for 2 minutes and then we will move on. All right, so this is 11 minutes past time. So I will stop taking comments exactly 13 minutes past time. Okay, so please quickly type on your keyboard what you understand by security policy. Okay. Oluwake West said, I've heard of it. but never understood it. Okay, trust me, you're in the right place. You are in the right place. That's the goal of this class, to make you understand what exactly security policy is. And have in mind that this is just introduction. So there's going to be a lot of high level overview and high level explanation of some stuff. As we move on, we go deeper into it. All right. Okay, Kenny said, first time hearing about security policy. First time hearing about security policy. All right, that is good. That is good. Makes sense. All right. Damilola said security policy is a law guiding an organization. Okay, that is close. That is close. That is nice. Gift. Security policies are rules and guidance that you need to follow in working on your system. Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you, Gift. All right, Christiana, yes, sir. I have heard about security policies in different organizations, and it's a policy that ensures that the organization is secured, something like that. Nice, nice, nice. I love that. Thank you. All right, Rio Gold. Are policies or guidelines made for protection for an entity's information and assets? Yes, very correct, Rio. Good. Jacinta Sampson. All right, security policy is a document that spells out principles and strategies for organizations to maintain the security. Very, very correct. All right, so we will stop taking comments now, please, so we can focus. All right. So if I didn't touch yours, please don't feel offended. We have to stick with time. Okay. So understanding security policy, right? The first thing we have to do is define what a security policy is. So security policies are essential frameworks that governs how an organization manages its is information security, right? They consist of the following, right? So before we move to the following, let's talk a bit about these security policies, right? This is very, very straightforward and self-explanatory, right? Are essentially frameworks. Now, by framework, right, it's a lot, right? It's not just one document. There are other things that makes up the security policy, right? Which governs how an organization manages its information security. So if you look at what I have here, as simple and as short as the definition is, you will notice that it agrees, right? And it easily um expatiate on a lot of comments that you guys have dropped in the comment section, right? So simply put, security policies are essential frameworks that governs how an organization manages its what information security. It governs the entire thing. Now, when we say it governs the thing, so you must understand that included is what is the people, right? The employees are included, right? Then included is also what the technology, which is what the computers, the servers, every form of technology, the software, right? Different technologies that are used across the organization. And finally, the process. Now, by process, I mean how things are being done in that organization. So, okay, we want to, let's say, for example, in the financial sector, in the banking sector, right, there's certain amount of money that when you want to move, at least three persons must come together to is it validate now to validate the transaction, right? So if the three signature is not attached to the document, then there's no way that money can be released. So processes are very important, right? If you go to some organization, before you get into the organization, right, you must first write down your name. After writing down your name, you write down the time which you come, and then you sign. Then they give you a tag. After that, you go to sit down in the reception. You can't just walk into any office. So that is a process that has been set in place in that particular organization. So you must understand. So, like I said, manage what information security. Now, very important. There are three things in this, right? People, technology, and process. So you notice how the loop that a lot of your definition have is. So you'd only be talking about about the technology, but it's also important that we have right process in place. Then the people, right? The most common way of dealing with the people is to what? To arm them with what? The right knowledge. To arm them with knowledge, right? Through training, through webinar and stuffs like that. We are going to get more into that as we progress. Now, security policies consist of the following. One is what? Purpose. Why are we creating this policy? Two is what? The scope. Next, we have what? Roles and responsibility, and we have compliance standard. So let's explain purpose, the reason for which the policy exists. You don't just create security policy because, oh, security policy is a thing. There must be a reason. There's a goal you are trying to what? To achieve. Now, I want to explicitly put this out. Now, you must understand that this training is not to teach you, not just to teach you how to protect yourself. We are training you on how to become security professionals. Do you understand? Now, when you become a security professional, you are going to be working for what? As an organization. You are not a professional if you are not working for an organization. So you must know that as a professional, part of your work will involve developing what? Security policy, right? And before you develop a security policy, you must first know why you are doing it. Now, when you are developing a security policy, there must be a scope. Now, you need a scope so that things can be clear cut. So under scope, you see I have written here that who and what the policy applies to. So you must make sure that the policy is not just vague, so everybody can at the end of the day deny. No, no, no. There must be a proper scope to the policy, right? Then we have roles and responsibility. Okay, so Mr. A is meant to do this by virtue of this policy. This responsibility is assigned to department XYZ in organization ABC. Understand? So there must be what? Roles and responsibility. And then compliance. Compliance is a big deal. So it must ensure what? Alignment with relevant regulations. With relevant regulation. So let's move. All right. So types of security policy. So we group them into three for the sake of this study. So we have access control policy, we have acceptable use policy, and we have incident response policy. Now, access control policy defines who can access specific systems and data. So, for example, it must be clearly stated, right, that, oh, somebody in the physical security department, right, somebody in the physical security department should by no reason be accessing the financial information of the organization. It is not his work, right? So you must define who can access specific system and data, right? As growing up, right, my dad used to be a civil servant, and there are some files that clearly written on it is what? Confidential. So we know that, oh, this document is not meant for just any eye. Same thing applies to IT, right? It is not all information that everybody should access in a particular organization simply because they work in the IT department. So this type of policy defines who can access specific systems and data. So it's not just anybody that can walk into the server room. Please, I hope you are following the build up. Please let me know I'm not talking to myself in the comment section. Thank you very much. Then acceptable use policy, right? These policies outline how employees can use company resources. Very, very important. So acceptable use policy. So if we should give you, okay, I will slow down a little bit. Thank you very much. So by the time as an organization, we are giving you, the staff of the organization, our official laptop, by no means should you use it to what? Mine cryptocurrency. You understand? We give you the office laptop. By no means should you be using your personal WhatsApp on it. We give you the company laptop. By no means should you be using it for your personal life. So you see that these are what acceptable use policy. All right, so I'll work on the speed. Thank you very much, Alexander. Right, acceptable use policy. So we have incident response policy. Now, incident response policy. So in security, we say no organization is 100% secure, right? So it's not every organization must stay ready for the what? For the D-Day, right? For the day that nobody wants to come. So any organization can get compromised, right? So should in case a compromise happen, you notice that it is called, we have incident response. It is not called incident reaction for a reason. So there must be a clear-cut way, a predefined way that an organization can what? Respond to the incident. So this policy handles all of this. Okay, we got hacked. Fine, we are not the first that are getting hacked, neither will we be the last that will get hacked or compromised. But how do we move on? How do we properly handle this situation? So ensure structured responses towards security incidents. All right. So thank you. Let's move on. So why is security policy important to an organization? Why is it important to an organization? So security policies are the backbone of what is secure infrastructure. Remember, it is a clear-cut outlined way, right? Clear-cut outlined framework. Now, one, they want protect against unauthorized access and what data breaches. Two, they ensure what compliance with legal and regulatory standard, right? So there are standards that if you are working as an IT organization in certain sphere, certain department of IT that you must meet up with. So it is the security policy document, right? There are security policy document that addresses how you can stay compliant to these standards, right? So, and lastly, like I have here, right, they set expectation for employees' behavior in safeguarding companies' assets. So there's a saying in security that the weakest link is what? Is the human. The weakest link are the human. So security policy explicitly states the responsibility of each person. This is what we expect from you. This is what we expect of you as a staff of this organization, right? So there's a baseline. There's something we are sure our people are not doing this. So therefore we are not exposed to this kind of risks. You get helps to what? Reduce the risk level of the organization. All right. So thank you. So we take questions now. So we take them for 3 minutes, address them quickly, and we will move towards the next section. All right. So the question here is, why do you guys think, okay, having explained this, why do security policies often fail? If organizations are having all these things spelled out, right, in a document, people are saying, okay, do not open this kind of mail, do not click on links, we have it written, do not install this type of softwares. But why is it that after doing all of these, organizations are still getting hacked? Don't forget that I mentioned that what security policy what protect against unauthorized access and data breach. So how come that organization are still getting hacked? Where is the problem coming from? Okay, thank you very much. Craft hacks by wonders, non-compliance by personnel. Very correct. But please, can you explain more? what you mean by this. Okay, thank you very much, Faith Olubunmi. You said F because some people do not adhere to it. Very, very correct. Let's not forget that it's a framework, it is a document, right? Okay, yes, we have cyber law, we have IT Act, we have that in Nigeria. Okay, Esther said poor security setup also valid. Okay, security can never be 100% from pressures. Very, very correct. Okay, thank you very much. I have another one from beautiful one from Modupe. Employees often do not often follow the lay down policy. Right? So it's one thing to have a policy, is another thing to what follow through with the what the policy. Thank you. Lack of monitoring and evaluation. Very correct. Aminat, very correct. IV negligence and overconfidence in part of personnel. Also very very true. Human error from, okay, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'm sure you know yourself. Upeka, right? Eviongbene. I hope I got it very correct. Because of curiosity from Obaro. Okay, very true. People are very curious. People are very curious. Hackers are also getting smarter. Also true. Also correct. Because every security has its weakness. True, true, true. All valid. But now, let's stop taking questions now. Ignorance also true. Not compliance. True, 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 true. Now, so in summary, right? The point we need to I'm trying to bring out is, it is one thing to create policy, it is another thing to make sure that people are following. So even if you have the best written down policy, right, things, if people are not following the policy, then you will still end up in trouble. All right, so guys, give me a minute, give me 10 minutes break, just 5 minutes break rather. Let me quickly address something. There's a technical problem here I need to address. I will be back soon, please. 5 minutes. Thank you very much. sorry, please. You will notice something. You will notice something a bit strange and different. I have a PDF open here. My slide is not coming up. So please bear with me. For some weird reason, my Google Docs are not responding anymore from here. So I had to quickly switch to a PDF version. So please, can everybody hear me? Please, before we move, before we continue, please confirm if you can hear me. Sincere apologies for the technical issue. Please, I sincerely apologize. I'll keep trying to get the Google Sheet, the Google Doc to work so we can have a better presentation. All right, so all right, thank you, Ajao. Thank you, Victoria. And thank you, Miracle. Okay, we have the so okay. So thank you all for the contribution. Those were brilliant contributions. Right. So next we have the benefit of security policy. We'll be looking at the benefit of security policy. So what does an organization stand to gain when they have this framework all created, when they have this framework working, and they have this framework properly documented and they are following the framework as they should? So what do they stand to gain? Now, one is what? Risk management. Okay. Okay, my slide just came up, so give me a minute. Let me quickly switch. Sorry, guys, I sincerely apologize. All right, so everybody should be able to see my slide now. Okay, fine. This is better. This is way better than the PDF version. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, risk management. One, we have risk management. So, security policy helps to manage, helps identify, manage, and reduce risks by ensuring consistent security practices across the organization. Right. So with a proper security policy, right, there will be consistent security practice across the organization. Right. So just like the example we gave, it's not like IT department is trying to do the best. The cybersecurity department is trying to do their very possible best to make sure that the organization is secure, while the people in the what, in the marketing department do not care at all about security. So if it is properly followed, if the documented information, right, in the policy, right, is properly followed, right, there will be proper risk management, right? Because everybody is following the policy. The gatesman is following the policy, right? The help desk is following the policy. Every single person is following the policy, right? So the chances of getting into of an attacker getting compromising, rather, of the chances of an attacker compromising the organization is what is going to reduce significantly. So Without policies, organizations are more vulnerable to what cyber attacks such as phishing or malware. So proper security policy, an example of a policy in an organization could be, okay, nobody should click on any untrusted link in their email, right? You get, so if everybody in the organization is following this, then we know that okay, the attack surface has significantly reduced, and we know that okay, the chances of getting compromised as a result of phishing is what is reduced. You get, another one could be okay, there's a security policy that was developed and then it was probably enforced in the technology that there are certain sites that are known to be malicious, that as long as you are connected to the organization's network, there's no way that you can access those sites. That means the risks associated with those sites, have been significantly reduced. So proper adherence to security policy secondly reduces data breach, which are mostly caused by human error or insider threats. So an example of insider threats, I'm sure some of you would have heard of what we call ransomware groups, ransomware gangs, right? We spoke about ransomware in the previous class, right? So there are certain let's call them organization or group, right? Persons will come together and they will make a business out of crime, the crime of ransomware, right? Now, we've noticed that there is a new paradigm, right? Now, a lot of this ransomware group are not just trying to get into organization from the technology perspective. That means they are not necessarily trying to hack into the organization through the technology. So they go about looking for somebody in the organization that is willing to hand out some credential, that is willing to hand out some information, and then most times they make promise of certain percentage of whatsoever financial gain they realize from that heist. Now, if you have a proper security policy in place which is properly adhered to, now if somebody with low level access to your network is snitching on you, right? Somebody with low access level to your network is giving out his or her credential to this ransomware gang, then you know that okay, the level of damage that they can do should in case somebody misbehave in the organization is significantly low. That is one. I remember that the other time, right, we said that there are certain things that you might want to do that might require 2 or 3 persons to do before it can be done, rather. You get, so if you have such things in place, you know that, oh, if one person has betrayed the organization, the 2 other persons can still help to save the day. So next is regulatory compliance. So compliance with regulations such as GDPR, with HIPAA, with PCI DSS is mandatory. So security policy ensures that all the organization actions align with these laws, avoiding legal penalties. So this is very, very straightforward. So an organization needs to be compliant to some regulations, right? So it is the security policies that ensures that everything that the organization is doing aligns with this law. Okay, so for example, GDPR is saying that, oh, we must not expose our customer data, right? We must, as long as the customer data which we are saving on the system, we must make sure that it is properly secure, right? It is the policy document that is going to help to make sure that everybody is doing that. All right. So next is standardization. So security policy ensures that security processes are standardized. Security processes are what standardized across departments. So just like I explained earlier, everybody in the organization is doing the same thing when it comes to security. So they provide a clear structure that helps everyone follow the same procedures, reducing confusion during incident. So okay, should in case there's a breach, we know that okay, this is how our organization is going to be what responding to the breach. So it's not like, oh, HR department is already panicking. No, HR department already know what they are supposed to do. It's not that, oh, software development department is trying to do the work of security. They know that, oh, this is what we are supposed to do, and therefore we are not supposed to go past this because we have security guys that are in place to handle this situation. So everything is properly standardized. Then next is incident response, what I've been hammering over and over again. So security policy defines roles and steps for incident response. For instance, when a breach occurs, a well-documented policy ensures minimal damage by what? Assigning roles and procedure for switching resolution. So, for example, there's a case of a ransomware, but we know that we have what? We have backup. So, in as much as we are going to respond to the ransomware situation, we also we know that the next thing for us to do is to unplug the server that got compromised and plug in the backup so that the operations can continue. So that operation can continue smoothly. So the next is what? Legal protection. So in the case of a security breach and incident, having policies in place offers legal protection. Policies that employees have acknowledged and followed can protect the company from legal consequences. So, okay, we've gotten breached. I'm sorry, our organization has been breached. Fine, right? But we need to be able to prove to the the responsible body, right? The right body, the right authority that okay, we've tried our very possible best to make sure that this um didn't happen. This didn't happen. We've tried our very possible best to make sure that this didn't happen. Again, so you must be able to prove that you've played your part correctly. You must be able to play your part to make sure that everything was done correctly. Right. Okay, so all right. So any question or interaction, any contribution from what we've discussed so far? Please let's drop them. In the next 5 minutes, we'll be addressing them. So I'll take questions and contributions for the next 2 minutes, and then we will move on from there. Okay, so I have one beautiful question from Christiana Chuku here. So she said, so there can be a mole or spy in an organization that gives out the company's information that can breach. Yes, no matter how tight it is. Yes, that's very, very common. In fact, there are attackers we call nation state attackers, right? Spies, they come into a country, they work as mole to penetrate the country IT infrastructure, and then they start sending back to their home country. Yeah, so you can look that up online. There are very interesting cases like this online. Okay, so let me look. What other question do we have? Okay, so I've answered Christiana question. Which other question do I need to attend to? Okay, so I have one from Sarah. Sarah, you should get it. I have sent the material to the right persons that should communicate it with you. So I believe they will share that with you very soon. So okay, so next is Delight. Ah no, not Delight. Titilayo. Sir, in a case of compromised data, to back up is there a need to back up the server? Sorry, Titilayo, your question is not so clear. Please, can you retype it and let me quickly attend to it? But I think this is a beautiful question. Yes, but I'm not sure I understand what you're saying yet. So let me not just assume. All right, so I have one from Adeshola. Can we call two-factor authentication on WhatsApp a security policy for the app? Yes, it's that was definitely vetted by a security policy. It gets yes. So that was definitely vetted by security policy. So, for example, in an organization, a security policy could state that every application that will be used across the organization must be what two-factor authentication enabled. So we know that okay, if somebody steals username and password, they still can't get into the organization IT infrastructure. So, all right. So okay, so I'm waiting for your question. Um the lady, I can't remember her name now. Yeah, Titilayo. Yes. I'm waiting for you to retype your question. Quickly, please. Okay, hot topic. I tried taking a screenshot on someone's DP on WhatsApp. WhatsApp didn't allow me. Yeah, that happened. Yes. Okay, so Christiana Chuku, when some sites are you a robot? Is that part of security policy? Security policy might have bet the implementation of that particular um technology. Yeah, might have bet that, but that in itself is not necessarily security policy. All right, so praise Okay, Fufe, I hope I am pronouncing your name correctly. Can a security policy differ from department to department? Yes, yes, definitely. Yes, so I mean, different organizations, I'm sorry, different departments in an organization have different functions. So your policy must be realistic, you get. So you can't just say everybody should be following the same policy, no, because every different departments have different functions, so you have to make sure that it works well with that particular department. You get. Okay, Titilayo, thanks for the question. I meant in the case of of compromised data, is there any way to back up the server? Okay, so there needs to be a backup server before the compromise happen, you get, so that you can then bring up the backup while you're attending to the compromise. So it is not at after the compromise have happened that then you are backing up your data now. Do you understand? All right, so thank you, Titilayo. Okay, so I have this is out of topic from Idioma. How do I verify a site whether it is legit or not? There are different ways you can do this. So, something we call who is information. Just check that up online, and then that should point you in the right direction. Okay. So this is just a document development thing, Busayo, Abigail. So there's no hacking today, right? There's no getting into any Windows system today. You get, so if that's the practical you mean, no, we are not having that today. Okay, I have one from Ivy. Can we classify writing a captcha, okay, as security policy? Now you must understand, policy is a framework, right? Usually in the form of a document that states what should be done, what should not be done. You get, so most of what people are bringing up now, right? You notice that those are like technologies, those are like things that happening as a result of a code. So those are children bettered from the policy. Those, like the capture will happen after a policy have been developed, that okay, we want to make sure that bots are not scraping, bots are not attacking our site, bots are not scraping our site, you get. Okay, Obinwen name, oh my god, yes, very correct. Thank you very much for that, this beautiful contribution, Obi. Okay, so I think I've gone past the time I said I was going to attend to the questions and contribution. So, oh, sorry, Jane. Maybe next time. All right. So, security policies and employee behavior. Security policies and employee behavior. So, influencing employee behavior. So now you must understand that as an IT person, you must be able to what, make sure that this policy are not just paperwork. This policy are not just document that lying down on the table to what, to for the dust to get into. So now, well constructed policies guide employees on acceptable and secure behaviors when handling company data. So, for instance, an acceptable use policy can prevent employees from using personal device in unsecure ways, thus reducing the risk of data leakage. Right? So, okay, let's move on so everything will make more sense soon. Next is what? Training and awareness. Now, you remember that earlier on I said that okay, when we are talking of security policies, it must cross across three things, right? The people, the technology, and the process. Now you notice that for this particular part now, let me go back a bit, right? Security policies and employee behavior. So you notice that this now doesn't necessarily directly deal with the let's with the technology, but rather the people that are what using this technology, which are what, the employee. So merely having a policy is not enough. Employees must be trained on the significance of this policy. So you must make sure that everybody understand why we are creating these policies, why we are creating this document. We are not just doing them because we want to be fancy. We are doing them because they are going to help to make sure that the organization is secure. So you must be able to find a good way of communicating this to the employees of the organization. So how do you communicate this? One of the way is through what? Training and awareness. So regular training reinforces this understanding and ensures continuous compliance. So you repeat the training. So it's not just, oh, we've done training 5 years ago, so we believe that, we want to believe that, oh, we assume that everybody in the organization know what they are supposed to do. Remember that the bad guys are also upping their game from time to time. So you must be able to, from time to time, also communicate with your people. From time to time, communicate with your people. Okay, this is what the bad guys are doing, and this is how we are making sure that they do not get into our organization. This is how we are making sure that they do not get into our system. You get? So it is easier for people, from experience, it is easier from people to understand your work as a security person from the standpoint of what? Of consequence. You get? So, oh, like personally, I don't just tell people, okay, don't click on links. So maybe before the training, we might have carried out a test, right? We might have carried out a campaign, and then probably 2 or 3 persons will fall victim. And then when we come, we'll show them, okay, this is the damage that this has caused. I mean, definitely not damage in quotes, right? And so by the time you show people all of this, it will be easier for them to understand that, okay, we are not just saying this, right? There's actually a reason why we are telling them to do X, Y, and Z. Okay. Then enforcement and what? Accountability. So policies must clearly outline the consequences of non-compliance. So humans like to know, if I don't do this, what is at stake? So you must make sure that your policy is what? Clearly outlining consequences of what? Non-compliance. So without enforcement, employee may disregard policies, which weakens the organization security posture. So for example, now that we've explained this now, okay, so let's talk about a basic security policy. I mean, I have somebody like Obi doing a good job in the comments, spoke about our organization and how they can access some things they can click on. Very good. Can anybody give me any other policy? Let's take the very basic one, password policy, right? So a very good example that most of us are familiar with would be password creation policies, right? Which is enforced in most of the applications we come across nowadays, right? They'll tell you that, oh, your password must be at least 8 character long. On some other platform, they'll tell you that your password must be what? At least 12 character long. Huh? So after that, they'll tell you, okay, it must not just be easily guessable word, it must be what? Combination of text, it must be combination of what? Special character, it must be combination of upper and lower case, like that, like that. So that is an example of what? Of a basic password policy. So example now, if you are working excuse me, if you are working in an organization now as an analyst, you could say, okay, we want to make sure that everybody, like, nobody can use any, it should be using any password that is less than what, 12 character, right? And then the IT persons will, this will now bet what the IT, the technical persons, what implementing this across all organization infrastructure. So thank you very much. Loy said password must contain or already uppercase, altogether uppercase and lowercase and special character. Very, very correct, Lois. Miracle says yes, and in some they will add combination of, yes, very correct, Miracle. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, Lois, thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the care. Then Elizabeth, another password policy in my organization changes. Thank you. Very, very beautiful. Now you people are making beautiful combination comments, right? Changes password every month, right? So password must change from what? From time to time, right? Password will be changing every month. So any other one? Any other one? Thank you very much for that beautiful one, Elizabeth. Okay, thank you. Titila, your password must have special character, minimum of 8. Very, very correct. It must contain upper letter, symbol. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Blessing. Some organization may even create the password for you, and some organizations do password change every 6 months. Beautiful from Blessing. Beautiful. Now, let's quickly touch something from what Blessing has said. Blessing said, oh, in some organization, they may create the password for you, right? Now, this is good, right? But there's usually a thin line between this and then moving to okay, how do I best communicate this? It is easy to fall on the wrong side of this. So if your organization is what creating password for you, they must make sure that the password they are creating for you is what, completely random. Do you understand? So, for example, there are cases where, as a penetration tester, I am going into a system and then I know that, oh, if I should trigger the password reset, it is going to reset to the organization default password, which might be Jesus is Lord 123. Right? So if it moves back to Jesus is Lord 123, then I can then access any user's account. So now you must not just create password for your people, right? You must make sure that the password you are creating for them is completely random. Thank you very much, Blessing. I love that. Jacinta, password must not be less than, very, very correct. In Yang Ushang, very, very correct. Password must consist of not only words but special characters such as hash and asterisk and exclamation mark. Yeah. So Boluwatife Joy, my brother cannot download another app on his company system until, yes, yes, beautiful, right? So now you know that there's a privilege, right? So this type of activity is only meant for what? Admin user. So you must be an admin user before you download things to the organization laptop. Okay, so let me look for any new one. We have a lot of duplicates here. Let me look. Okay, thank you very much, Okoli Grace. Beautiful comment. Said some password are sent from the company, and then upon first login, you are required to change your to your own password. So that's an example of another password policy. Okay, so we have gifts who says some banks do not allow years. So in their ATM password, example 1998, right? So it is not uncommon. A lot of persons use their year of birth or the day and the combination. their date, their month of birth, and the dates, right? They combine it together to create their ATM pin. So now some banks are already making sure that, oh, you do not use this, because these are easily guessable things from basic, after an attacker has done his necessary um assignment. So thank you very much, Miracle Onyekwere. Default passwords may be risky. Yes, yes, yes. Then from Folorunsho Oluwaseun, must not reuse the same password. That is also another good policy, right? So in some organization, right, they might, before you can reuse a previous version password, it must have been maybe 5 password change later. You get. Okay, password must not be your name. Thank you, Mary. Thank you for this example of a strong password. Yeah. Okay, so I can't take all the comments, so let's move on. Let's move on. Thank you, guys. I love the comments. Thank you very much. So, best practices for developing effective security policy. So, how can we go about creating a security policy that is effective? So, that's what we are going to be treating now. So, one, it must align your policies with what business objectives. So your policy must align with business objective. So it's not like the business is doing this and then your policy is going completely different from the objective of the business. So policies should support the organization's overall business goal. For instance, a security policy that blocks employee from performing tasks effectively is likely to be what? To be ignored. So just like somebody asked earlier on that, okay, must we have the same policy for all departments? And I answered that, I said that no, that you must make sure that the policy aligns with that department. So for example, like okay, another example is the contribution we had earlier from someone who said, okay, before you can install applications on an organization laptop, you must know the admin password. That means you must be an admin user. So that means definitely now that admin user is an IT person. Do you understand? So that is like saying, okay, installation of application now is allowed for what? The IT people, because we believe that these are professionals and they will not just install any application. But for somebody else, maybe in the marketing department, for no reason should we see them installing applications on the company's laptop. Yes, so you must make sure that your policy aligns with business objective. So policy should not become a pain in the life of the employees. All right. So you must use clear and concise language. That means avoid overly technical jargon. So you must make sure that, oh, if you are writing your policy, right, it's not a time for you to prove that you have English prowess, right? It's not the time to try. Your policy should not be something that is requiring people to go and be checking their dictionary for the meaning of some things. You must make sure that it is easily understandable by anybody that is picking up the document. So policies should be easily understandable by all employees, not just the IT professionals. Very, very important. So it is not just the IT professionals that should understand what is in the policy document. If you should give it out to a physical security person on the gate, they should be able to tell you that this and this and this is what this document is saying. So for example, instead of saying avoid cryptographic anomaly, you should say use strong encryption technique for all sensitive data. So for a non-IT person, right, when you are saying cryptographic anomaly, you definitely lose the person. But when you say, oh, use strong encryption technique for all sensitive data, to a large extent, it is easier for the person to what relate with what you are saying, right? Then regular review and update. So you must understand that your policy is what we call a live document. It is a living document. That means you are going to be working on the policy what from time to time. So because like I said earlier on, that attackers are constantly evolving, attackers are constantly upping their game, their new styles, there are new techniques, there are new procedures that attackers are making. So you must make sure that um, your policy remains relevant. So you must regularly look at it. Okay, what is working? What is not working? What can we make better in this particular document? So, okay. So I have a very funny comment I would like to address here from Faith Olubumi. Said those security personnel cannot understand encryption. No. Yes, if they do not understand what encryption is, speak it to them in pidgin. Do you understand? But that's just on the lighter note. So let's continue. Let's continue, please. Yes, thank you very much. Elsie Diary, don't prove to be a grammarian when writing policy. Very, very, very beautiful. Beautifully said. Okay, so let's get back to work and then we'll come back to the comment section. So now, as threat evolves, so should your security policies, right? So regularly update your policies to address emerging risks, such as a new form of phishing attack or vulnerabilities in the software application. So you get, so a very good example is, okay, 2 years, let's say 5 years ago, we do not have a lot of generative AI as we have right now, right? So then definitely policy documents that were created 5 years ago, right, will not attend to the use of AI in an organization. So if you do not update your policy right now, then you should not be complaining that your employees are abusing AI. For how, what do I mean by abusing AI? Maybe your employees are submitting sensitive or classified information to AI in the name of what, using AI to solve organizational tasks. So right now, your policy should contain things that includes guidelines on how to use AI. Okay, you should not be submitting this kind of information to AI. Do you understand? So I believe that's a good example and explanation of why it is important to regularly review and update your policy. Then policy enforcement. This is like the most important part. So it's not just having it written, it's not just saying it, but we must make sure that what it is enforced, right? So effective enforcement ensures that policies are not just on paper, but are actively followed. So you must make sure that policies are not just on paper, but rather they are actively followed. So, for example, regularly audit access control system to ensure that former employees no longer have system access. Very important. So, okay, my name is Emmanuel, right? I used to work for an organization known as Jesus is Lord organization. The name of the organization is Jesus is Lord. And then I resigned from the organization known as Jesus is Lord. And now I'm working for an organization known as Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost is beautiful, right? Now, it is not uncommon for organization right now that even after a year of resigning from organization, what did I call it again? Jesus is Lord, right? That if I should go back with my access card, I might still be able to access the office, right? My email might not have been what discontinued. My You get? So policy is supposed to address all of this. So we make sure that, okay, if anybody is leaving our organization, then we make sure that we destroy all form of access that they have to our organization. Okay, so I believe this is clear enough. So we must make sure that what we enforce this policy. Then, very important, you must involve stakeholders, key people in the organization. You must make sure that you involve them. You must make sure that you carry them along, right? Security a lot of time follows the what top down model. So if the people at the top are not showing the right body language, then the people from below will most likely not do what is expected, will most likely follow the same body language of the people at the top. So when creating security policies, you must make sure that you involve various departments, right? Such as the HR, the legal, and the IT, to ensure that all organizational needs are met. So this stakeholder is in two parts. So I just explained that, okay, you must make sure that the people at the top are what are well aware of what you are doing and why you are doing it. Also, you must make sure that every department in the company, every department in the organization is also properly carried along. So it's not just that, oh, after creating the policy, the legal department is telling you that they are not aware of anything like what you have done. They are not aware of what you've done. Like what you've done is completely new. You understand? So we must make sure that everybody is properly carried along. Okay, so now we will take questions, guys. Let's take questions. Let's take contribution in the next 3 minutes. So by exactly 8:37, I will stop taking questions so we can attend to everything, and we are getting close to the end of today's session, so we can wrap up. So thank you guys. Your question, then if you have any contribution, please feel free to drop it in the comment section. Please. Please, questions, contributions, question, contribution. I'm already noting spotting some names now, because they are like the student that are always contributing in my session. All right, so I'm waiting. Thank you. Okay. Eunice says, cheers to all of us that click I agree without reading the security policy. All right. That's a good one. That's a good one, Eunice. That's a good one, Eunice. Okay, we have one from Kemi who says, are policies renewable? So I believe this has attended to that regular review and update. So it's like I said, is a living document. It's a living document. So from time to time you work on it, from time to time you improve it. All right. So yes. Okay, which other one? That's for Kemi. Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay. Francis Perry Obi. Okay. Hot topic. Do you get stakeholders involved? as part of stakeholders. Yes, you remember I said it's in two parts. You must make sure that people at the top are well aware of what you are doing, so that they can give the right body language to people beneath, right? Yes. And then the second part is you make sure that everybody, every department is carried along. They also know what you are doing. So I have one from Okoli Grace. Please, sir, do all the bank policy. Okay, I believe this means are all bank policy the same? No, definitely banks are different, right? So there will be little bit difference here and there, but then you can trust that there are similarities, right? But definitely there are no two organizations that will have the same, entirely same policy. You get. Okay, Damilare says, why do organizations make policies very tiring to read? No, remember, like we said, it must be as clear as possible. So, I mean, they must attend to every possible thing to make sure that you agree with their terms for using their service. You understand? Yeah, from Damilare. So, we have one Adeshola Adesonya. Only have a suggestion. Please, the attendance list. Okay, this not all right. So you guys can see the information beneath the screen, right? So please follow it for your attendance. All right, Gift said Gift has experienced this real life. She tried getting to a page, but it was not accessible. No, it's not an avenue not to read it. Oluwafemi Opeyemi, not really, right? The policy, remember that it must be clear and it must also be comprehensive. So they touch everything that needs to be touched. Yeah. All right. So I believe that has answered your question, Francis. All right. Joy, can one's data site be hacked through phone numbers and account detail without clicking? Okay, so this is out of the context of what we are treating today, Joy. Okay, gift. So is there a way these policies can be shortened? Okay, I believe I have attended to your question. I mean, it must be clear and it must also be comprehensive, you get. So as the professional, you must be ready to protect your organization. Remember that this training is from the standpoint of a professional. So if you as a professional, you are developing a policy that is not complete, that would be a lot of problem for your organization. So think about it from the standpoint of the professional developing the policy. Don't look at it from the aspect of, oh, I'm the user, it is tiring to read. You must understand why as a professional you have to do this. Yeah, thank you very much, Florence. Florence just retreated my point. So most often when people leave an organization, they still want to have access and be part of the system. So there is need for constant change in policies. Thank you very much for that, Florence. I appreciate it. Yes, Oluwaseyi Jane says, do small organizations need to? Yes, every organization needs security. So definitely every organization needs policy. The difference is, okay, small organization policy will not be as robust as what large organization policy. So Okolie Grace, I believe I've answered this question. Are all policies in the bank the same? I said it will vary from one bank to the other. It will vary across organization. Hot topic, I mean the shareholders like director. Yes, just like I said, those are the people at the top, right? So yes. All right. Thank you very much for this, Elizabeth. I love this. This is a nice policy in the organization, right? Flagging the accounts if the password is not changed. Okay, so can policies be overwritten in the case of an emergency from Evangia? Okay, I yanked you. Please, I hope I am not killing your name. Please bear with me, right? Yes, in fact, the policy itself is going to be what is where this will be written. So the policy is going to say, in this extreme case, there is room for leaving out this step and this procedure so we can properly attend to it. So, in fact, the policy is what is going to be doing. The policy is going to clearly state what you've just said. It's that okay, we can override. I mean, I hope you get the joke though. I'm not saying it the way I really want to say it, but I believe you get the joke. Okay, so okay, let's stop the questions. Now we've gone past time. Oh, it's a lot. Sincere apologies, guys. We have just 18 minutes left in our time, so let's quickly complete. Okay, so compliance with security policies. So challenges in maintaining compliance, right? Organizations may struggle with compliance. Right? So, okay, you have this policy, but how do you stay compliant to the necessary regulations? Right. So resistance to change. So employees might resist new policies that they perceive as inconvenient, right? So you must be aware of this. Another thing is complex IT environment. So managing policies across multiple system and network can be challenging. This can be what challenging. Then tools for monitoring compliance. So we have tools like SIM, right? Security event and security information and event management system, right, that monitors the network activity and ensure compliance with security policies. Regular internal audits also help ensure adherence to policies. So I believe as we progress in the class, we'll be showing you what a SIM looks like, and then you will see how SIM tools, right, help to maintain compliance. So most SIM tool will show you, they have the feature of showing you what compliance you, I'm sorry, what regulation you are compliant to. So yeah. Then reporting and audit. So regular compliance audits, right? Both internal and external, ensures that policies are being followed. So for example, a PCI DSS audit can confirm that all cardholder data is being handled securely. All right. So PCI DSS has to do with payment, right? Card is a regulation for the card sector, for the payment card industry, right? So if an audit in this for this can confirm that all the cardholder data is being handled securely. Okay. So, all right. So, the last interactive session. Okay, Florence Adenika, please attend to the question for us to gain from it. Okay, what is the question, please? Okay, from Pamela, what is the disadvantage of not making use of policy? I mean, exact opposite of all what we've been discussing. So there will not be sorry, there won't be, what is the word now? There won't be there won't be, oh god, the word is not coming, please. Sorry, please. But then you know that okay, enforcement of security is not going to be concise across the organization. So that's going to bring about a lot of problem. You get, so it's just like everybody is doing what they like. That means anybody visits any website they like, anybody downloads any application they like on the laptop. So you can imagine it's going to be disastrous. You get. Okay, so please questions and contribution, guys. Okay, example of incident response in our organization, the organization we are using, organization Jesus is Lord, right? We got hacked from by some hackers from a particular APT group, from a particular hacking group, right? And example of incident response is okay, what do we do after this hack has happened? So, and I remember in the malware class, we said that okay, next, if a system gets compromised, the first thing we do is once we make sure that we ascertain that the system has been compromised. After that, then we disconnect it from the network. So the step-by-step process that will be followed will be well documented in the policy document so that okay, even if Emmanuel who developed the policy or the playbook is not around in the organization, is not available at the time of the compromise, anybody can pick up this document and know what they are supposed to do. All right. So PCI DSS, right? Okay, someone is asking for the meaning of PCI DSS. Okay, PCI DSS. Okay, no. PCI DSS stands for Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard for the person asking for that. Okay, Inyang says, please, sir, please speak about HIPAA and GDPR. Okay, we will be treating all these standard in our next class, so let's not shift focus for today. But trust me, we have that coming very, very soon. I hope that is okay with you, Inyang. Okay, Joy is asking, can one data be hacked by clicking on policy? No, remember that the policy is a framework. It is not the technology. Remember. Okay, so Jesugbemi Sola is saying, is there a body that an organization answers to if policies are not being followed appropriately? Yes, there are bodies, right? There are bodies. So you can, in your own time, quickly go to Google and check. In Nigeria, we have the NDPR, we have the NDPC, right? Oh, now, right? We have the NDPC, right? Nigeria Data Protection Commission, right? So we have different bodies that enforce these things. So we have them across. It might vary from. I mean, this is for Nigeria. So in the UK is different. In Ghana is different. You get, so you can search what institution is responsible for adherence to this in your country. All right. So, Pamela, Erin, please, can you talk more about PCI DSS? We will get to this. We will get to this in next class. Don't worry. This is just we are introducing ourselves to this. All right. Thank you. Okay, Inyang. Cool, cool. All right. Mosurat is asking, is policy the same in every organization? You said it's no, no two organizations are the same. So definitely, remember we said that the policy must be applicable in that organization. So you get, so no, it's not the same in every organization. So okay. Pamela, I have answered your question. I have answered your question. So Miracle says, please, sir, does it mean that without policy it is easier to be hacked? To an extent, we I can say yes. To an extent, I can say yes. Remember that it's not just about having the policy, we must also enforce the policy. So enforcing the policy, right, and adhering to it, you will know that okay, you reduce you've reduced exposure to certain risks. So Jesu Gbemisola, okay, Jesu Gbemisola says, do the people working in the organization just know what to do if an attack suddenly occurs from going through the policy when the cybersecurity expert is not around? Attack simulation. Okay, your question is not the last part is making your question clear. Just Misola, please look at it and readdress your question. All right. Praise said she thought they are written in codes. No, remember we said they are framework, they are documents, right? Remember I said they bet things. So it is the policy now that will determine what the developer is writing. You get. Guys, let's move on. So conclusion for today. So key points, you must remember that security policies are essential for what? Risk management, they're essential for compliance and creating a secure environment. Then policies must be what? Clearly communicated, regularly reviewed and enforced. Very important. So you make sure that you enforce them, and employee awareness and training are critical for effective policy implementation.